biggest success of the transaction that happened on BeatStars is Old Town Road. That's could arguably be the biggest success in music history. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's definitely been just an amazing feat that we luckily were a part of. We worked 11 years at just trying to build this ecosystem and build the technology to facilitate collaboration and affordable licensing, and to see that young people are gravitating towards each other on the internet. And young Keo, the producer, based in the Netherlands, and of course everyone knows the story about Lil Nas X being in Atlanta and them finding each other and buying the beat and turning it into what it turned into. It was the exact model of what we envisioned the company to do. You know what I mean?
Can you talk a little bit more about that? Like, isn't that kind of like unprecedented? Like, at least in the terms of the music industry in general, that a relatively unknown producer from the Netherlands could never meet the artist of the song and be part of the longest running #1 hit in music history. Like, what do you think about that?
I think now when you think about just human beings in general, like, we live on our digital devices first, like we live that digital life first, especially the younger generation. That's primary form of communication, that's primary form of discovery, primary form of how we consume media now. So it doesn't surprise me that amazing things are happening, from the internet, and it's not kind of being, it's not like a forced relationship. Like a lot of stuff in the industry, if a label signs, an artist, they put around producers that they feel fit them, and they kind of mold their music to sound what the label wants it to sound, rather than letting it organically just happen. And now that we're seeing this organic trend of things happening, like another track that was a platinum song, Queen Naja's Medicine, that beat was also bought on BeatStars. Future and Rihanna's Selfish, and a few other tracks. And I'm sure the Bad Bunny situation happened by producers listening to their music on YouTube, or for the beat demons, and now they have a platinum plaque. So it just makes things just much more accessible. And I feel like when I talk to a lot of producers, especially guys and girls that traditionally operated in kind of like the old way of A&R. One of the things that they have like a gripe with is like, I don't want my hot shit on the internet. I don't want it to be out there. I want to save this for a specific artist. I want to save this. And 99% of the time, their content is just collecting dust on a hard drive, doing nothing for them. Like, it's not building any business. And if your music is just not out there being consumed in every single format and every single vertical where music is consumed, and your shit is never gonna get discovered, my guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not gonna be. You're just not gonna have. You're just decreasing your probability of discovery to zero, basically. You know what I mean? So if you're talking about how to navigate and tackle how young people are working on music today, if you do not hit them where they live, which is on Twitter, SoundCloud, YouTube, BeatStars, and all these other social platforms as well, you're just missing out completely.
Definitely, yeah. So Chris, I wanted to expand on something that Abe sort of alluded to, that you guys are platinum producers. What can you tell us about the Netflix feed, and what is that like hearing, your music, your composition on a track with Bright Tiago and Bad Bunny, who are some of the biggest Latin music producers right now, Latin music artists right now?
All right. So pretty much, I did a collab with a dude. He lives in Arizona. That's the power of the internet. We get to work with people that live across the globe, or a different state. Pretty much, we did a collab. We uploaded it to YouTube. The video got about 1 million views. Shortly after that, we found out that a song came out by Bad Bunny and Bright Tiago called Netflix. The beat sounded exactly like ours. They more than likely they just remade it, and they probably heard it from BeatStars on YouTube. So unfortunately, we had to take the legal aspect of it and go through that whole process. So it was a little bittersweet after we won. just because, you know, we are now platinum producers, but I mean, it was also a dope experience just, you know, knowing that a lot of people like that song and, you know, it's people listen to it like all across the globe, in Spain and Mexico and the United States, and I mean, it's a good feeling, but I mean, like I said, it's bittersweet. I'm looking forward to getting on like a new one.
So did you ever expect that to happen when you first started out, to have a platinum plaque?
I mean, it was a goal, you know, it's something I wanted to achieve. So yeah, I mean, I think it's everybody's like dream to become successful in doing music. So I mean, I feel like us getting a plaque was definitely like a milestone for us, but you know, it's definitely not the first one. More to come.
Definitely. So I wanted to ask you, Abe, so about the success of Old Town Road, obviously this is like, you know, the biggest song in music history, but with the quality of content that you see online on BeatStars, and you know, the kind of ease at which the situation sort of unfolded with a producer on one side of the world and an artist on another, you know, releasing a $30 beat and then kind of having this thing explode, do you think this is something that could happen again? Potentially, you know, to anybody who uploads on BeatStars and, you know, is a music producer online?
Definitely. It happened before it. So, I mean, it was already happening before. I mean, I think another big one was the Joyner Lucas I'm Not a Racist track that really went viral. That was a beat by the Crates that he discovered on the site. So, yeah, I definitely see it happening. We've been scouring like the Billboard charts, the top 100, and we've, at any given time, there's like at least 5 tracks on the Billboard 100 that those beats were, you know, that at one point lived on BeatStars. So, yeah, I think this is how, you know, it's just a much more efficient way of collaborating, you know, and I think with the evolution of beat making software and how easy and just feature filled and just like how much it's evolved into like just being able to, you know, do everything in your software in regards to like making music. It's just made it so much more accessible for people to create a home studio. You know, all you need a laptop, a DAW, and you know, a headphone, and maybe a mini keyboard, and now you're in business. You know, so the barrier to entry now is just so cheap that, and then the quality of the content. So like these guys that make beats on like FL Studio or Ableton, I mean, they're bending boundaries in there, man. They're geniuses in the way they know how to use the software. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to see kind of how things continue to evolve. I mean, there's beats in like production on our platform, I mean, that are just hit records just waiting to be picked up, you know? But yeah, it's